Well, welcome. I want to thank you all for joining us tonight. My name is Nada St. Germain, and I was introduced to this company called Neolife over 35 years ago. It was mainly for energy, and I struggled with shift work. I had a lot of trouble with joint pain in my knees and allergies, and my mom was really struggling as well. She was in her 40s, I was in my 20s, and someone shared Neolife with us, and we were really skeptical to start. But we were curious because I knew we had to try something. And after saying yes, after hearing a presentation, I'm so grateful because 35 years later, I feel younger in my late 50s than I did when I was in my 20s and 30s. And my mom, who's in her late 70s, I'd like to say she's aging gracefully. And tonight, we're going to be focusing on your heart, how to keep your heart healthy, how to keep your circulation working properly, your cholesterol levels under control and blood pressure. And, our food and diet plays such a big role in how we age, and protecting your heart is so, so important, especially when you're looking at your food and your diet and good quality supplements. Well, I have the honor of introducing Maryellen Vandenbrink. She's our holistic nutritionist on our team, and she's just a wealth of knowledge. So thank you so much, Maryellen, for joining us this evening.
Oh, thank you so much, Nada. And the Healthy Heart is one of my favorite presentations because although I got involved in Neolife back 30 years ago because my son had a lot of respiratory issues and myself, I had migraines and headaches. The reason that I was always sort of interested in nutrition was because my dad was only 39 years old when he had his first triple bypass. So when I looked at that and I thought, you know what, I want to empower myself and learn as much as I can to, keep not only myself, but my family healthy as well. And the information we're going to share tonight, you're going to get a lot of tips on what you can do to keep healthy. Because as you know, heart disease is what? The number one killer, right? But good news is 80% is preventable by lifestyle change. And that's been proven over and over and over. So, what is heart disease? That's when the blood supply to the heart is reduced or cut off. But who's at risk? Well, some of the risk factors are, of course, smoking, which, we heard over and over and over because smoking is oxidative and damages the blood vessels. Lack of physical activity, we got to move our bodies. Stress is terrible for the body, and being overweight. And by controlling these, heart disease is preventable. So let's look at some of the nutrition related factors. Too much of the bad stuff. Well, we know those hydrogenated and industrialized fats are deadly, right? Because they replace the good fats in the body. Refined sugar. Sugar turns to fat, it's oxidative, junk food, but also not enough of the good stuff, things like omega-3s, fiber, and fruits and vegetables. So what are some of the diet-related indicators of heart disease? Well, high triglycerides, elevated homocysteine, which is something you can get your doctor to test for you, high cholesterol, oxidative stress, and being overweight or obese. So let's talk a little bit about the circulatory system, because every day the heart beats 100,000 times and pumps 2,000 gallons of blood through over 60,000 miles of blood vessels. We have 200 billion red blood cells synthesized in the bone marrow every single day. So that's pretty amazing. So what does high cholesterol do? Well, elevated levels of cholesterol can result in atherosclerosis and other vascular issues. And as you can see there, the artery on the left, you can see the yellow spongy stuff. That's where the artery is starting to close up. And the food you see on the right is one of the causes for it. And so damaged, you can see when an artery gets damaged, you get a little bleep in it, right? So what the body does, it tries to repair. So it creates a fatty streak. So these fatty deposits accumulate in the muscle cell. This is how the body tries to repair itself. And then eventually creates a fibrous plaque, which is fibers and fats. But if you get a large plaque, it actually obstructs the artery. So cholesterol is broken down into HDL, which is the high density lipoproteins, and that's the carrier of the good cholesterol from tissues to the liver for removal from the body. And the low density lipoproteins It's more the fat that forms plaque and blocks the arteries. We obviously do need some LDL because we need it for hormones and things, but it's like with the body, when things get out of balance, that's when the problems arise. So to repair blocked arteries, the traditional medical way is coronary bypass surgery. Well, my dad had that twice, open heart surgery, and balloon angioplasty. But all of these things are just band-aids, right? If you don't go to the source of the problem, you can have these you know these different types of procedures, but it's gonna come back again. So how do we detect high blood pressure and heart disease? Well, pain in the chest that radiates to the shoulders or arms on the left side of the neck or back or jaw, that's a very common sign. It's more common in men than women. Women's signs of heart disease are a little different. Pressure or burning sensation in the chest. A lot of people feel like really bad heartburn, shortness of breath, nausea, dizziness or fainting, indigestion that's not relieved with antacids, fatigue, and then excessive sweating. So those are, if you have those type of conditions, it's a good idea to get checked out. Strokes are a little bit different. They're interruption of blood flow to areas of the brain. So it's kind of like a heart attack in the brain. Stroke can cause paralysis, which can be temporary or permanent, and kidney damage. So there's 4 types of strokes. 2 are caused by a rupture and hemorrhage of the arteries, and that's why it's important to keep our arteries healthy. And 2 are caused by clots that block the blood flow, and of course the clots break off out of plaque. So what are some stroke warning signs? Well, you often see that you hear about sudden weakness or numbness of the face, arm, or leg on one side of the body. You'll say the face almost droops. Sudden dimness or loss of vision, especially if you get it all of a sudden in one eye. Loss of speech and difficulty understanding speech or trouble speaking. I've seen that before where that's often been diagnosed for a stroke. Sudden severe headaches with no known cause, or all of a sudden if you get unexplained unsteadiness, dizziness, or sudden falls, especially when you have one of the other symptoms as well. That can be stroke warning signs. So your risk factors for stroke, well, of course, as we get older, we have a higher risk. Males have a higher risk of stroke. Race can play a role as well. Diabetes, of course, because diabetes damages the blood vessels, right? Prior stroke, hereditary, and asymptomatic keratoid root, and that's the artery in the neck. You'll hear people say that they have a blockage there, and that's what that is. So stress, that in 1981, type A behavior, it was actually recognized by medical experts as a health disease or risk factor. And that's you see those A-type people who never relax. They just go, 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 go all the time, right? So how do we do prevention of hypertension or heart disease? Well, cutting back of the bad fats from your diet. Fat is good when it's a good fat or a healthy fat, but those processed, like fast food fats are definitely not good. Watch your salt shaker, because too much processed salt is definitely not good. I remember when I took my holistic nutrition, it was white sugar, white flour, white salt, white death, right? That's of course what they cause it. So you want to avoid those canned and processed foods. You want to lower your cholesterol if it's too high, within reason, and do it naturally, like is better. No smoking or alcohol, exercise regularly, keeping your blood sugar in that glycemic zone, which you hear us talk about all the time, keeping stress in check. And of course, supplements can help fill the gap, not replace your diet, but fill the gap of what we're not getting in our diet. And the World Health Organization, what do they say that we need to help prevent heart disease, cardiovascular disease, and stroke? Well, fruit, vegetables, nuts, and whole grains, which you hear us talking about all the time. More omega-3 fatty acids from fish or plant sources. And of course, maintaining a healthy weight, because if you're overweight, you produce more oxidants. So Nada, what's the 3 optimum health keys for optimal health?
Well, Maryellen, you talked about the bad fat, the good fat, and all these foods that we should be eating. Well, we definitely need to look at our diet, right? It's so important to make healthy food choices and eat real food. And that helps with your weight management, But physical activity is also that's really important, especially when you're looking at keeping your weight under control, managing your weight, improving circulation as well, which is so, so important. Because they say, right, if as we get older, if we don't move it, we lose it, right? So it's so important to keep active. And I always say, find something that you love to do so that you just look forward to doing it often. And water also something should be your drink of choice. We should be drinking more water as opposed to some of these, pops and soda pops and drinks that are loaded with sugar. So water definitely is something that should be increased. And even the Canadian Food Guide, was so grateful back in 2019 that they changed their system to where you should be eating more fruits and vegetables, the dark colors, and having healthy grains, healthy proteins, and eliminating as much white right from your diet as possible. And that's what Maryellen you talked about earlier. And again, water, right, being your drink of choice. But the challenge, even looking at this, is the whole grain. When you look at that plate, it's a challenge because our grains today are no longer whole. We're going to be talking a little bit about that. And when you're looking at your diet, I mean, you are what you eat. And the reality is that 75% of all chronic diseases are preventable, and especially through dietary changes. So we're going to be talking about that tonight. Even the Center for Disease Control, good nutrition can help lower the risk of many chronic diseases, including heart disease, stroke, some cancers, diabetes, and osteoporosis, which is a powerful statement. And there have been studies for many, many years, and this is a study going back to 2019, and they found that we aren't eating certain foods, and the foods that we aren't eating is actually what's killing us, and we're not eating enough those healthy grains and enough fruits and nuts and seeds and omega-3 and not enough vegetables in our diet, and these are the things that that keep our bodies healthy. So we should be eating more of these foods, and again, staying away just from processed foods, especially when you're looking at some of the proteins that are processed on the market. But let's talk about our grain. Our grains are no longer whole. They used to grow the wheat, grind the wheat, make the flour, and make the bread. And we used to get whole bread. Not in my time or even in some of your time, but I'm telling you, over 70 years ago, this is what they used to do. Our grains were whole, but they're no longer. They mill out the critical oils because they wanted to find a way to make our foods have a longer shelf life. We call it the great grain robbery. They mill out the outer layer of these important oils, and you're left with this starch, white flour, protein, gluten product with very little nutritional value, and very little fiber. So it's a big, big challenge, and it's hard to get these good fats in our diet anymore, and they are essential. So supplementation is important. This is when I first looked at Neolife. I thought, okay, if I can't get this in my diet, then I need to supplement. But where do I turn? My mom had been taking supplements for a few years and she wasn't getting any results. It wasn't until we started taking the Neolife products. And Maryellen, when you're looking at supplements, I know with your journey with going to school and being a holistic nutritionist, you know that there's a challenge with supplements and looking and finding the right products.
Yeah, that's so true, Nada, because as you can see here, a lot of people think because something's in a store, it's safe. But researchers found that from 2007 to 2016, they actually tested 776 products, and most of them contained hidden active ingredients that were unsafe or unstudied. So just because something's in a store does not mean it's safe. And the University of Guelph, they did that too. They tested all sorts of products, and none of them met label claims. But what's really shocking is the number one counterfeit nutritional supplement is fish oil supplements. And so many people are taking fish oils, but people are creating fake fish oil. So this is scary, very, very scary. So you have to really trust who you're dealing with, because when you see stuff like this, and this is why when I was introduced to Neolife over 30 years ago, I was so impressed because they'd never had a dietary recall. The product's been around since 1958. Like, you think that's over 66 years. They're in over 50 countries around the world. They have a pharmaceutical license. So a lot of people say, well, products, especially I'm talking to a lot of the people in the States here, and they go, there's no nutritional supplements that are FDA approved. Well, Neolife has a pharmaceutical license. It is FDA approved. And the whole philosophy is it's based in nature, but it's backed by science, which is so, so important. And when you think, what do you look for in a supplement? Well, a lot of people think if it's natural, it's good. But as you can see, natural is anything from the ground. It could be things like petroleum or pine bark. But Neolife goes back to food because what did that Lancet study say we're missing in our diets? Whole grains, fruits and vegetables, and wild salmon. And that's what Neolife bases their products on, the things that we are missing in our diets. And every ingredient is GMO free. And the reason we have this high quality control is because of our scientific advisory board, which is founded by Dr. Arthur First. He's one of the top toxicologists in the world. And when he was doing his research in cancer, because he was actually the co-founder of oral chemotherapy, he found that nutrients in food prevent disease. And that's why he joined up with Neolife in the 1970s, because their whole food philosophy. And he set up our incredible scientific advisory board of world-renowned scientists and nutrition experts. And you know what? They're not just good looking doctors who endorse the products, they're actually active and published and very well respected. And you want to make sure that the products are independently tested and published in peer reviewed journals. This is also a huge problem out in the supplementation because a lot of companies do not have good independent testing on their products. So Nada, do you want to tell us how we can fill that gap with our Pro Vitality?
So when you're looking at our food and our diet, and we talked about the grain oils and eating more fruits and vegetables and getting good quality fish. Well, this Pro Vitality pack has a little bit of everything in this pack to help you reach those nutritional deficiencies that we're not getting enough of in our diet. So I like to call this a Cadillac of multis because it contains that grain oil, those lipids and sterols from whole grains, less gluten than a bowl of gluten-free cereal. And it was developed for a hospital research study with people that were suffering from chronic fatigue. And this is the first product I started taking 35 years ago that really helped me with my energy and hormonal balance. And it helps to promote cellular energy and efficiency. It helps your cells work better. Okay, guys, if your cells aren't working properly, you're not going to be working properly. You're not going to feel the best because every single cell in your body is surrounded by that lipid layer, and it helps to control nutrients going in and waste going out. And if you're not getting these granules in your diet, your cells look like the cell on the left. Nutrients are trying to get in, waste is trying to get out. And this is one of the biggest reasons why we have a lot of very tired and sluggish cells, and not all the nutrients in your food are being utilized efficiently. So Tran was developed by Neolife back in 1958, and it contains those oils from grain. It was proven to help your cells absorb the nutrients from your diet by 50% more, which is huge, especially if you're somebody that says, I have a really good diet. This is going to make things work so much better. The other thing is your fruits and veggies. I mean, I don't know how many people, or if you know anybody that eats up to 13 servings of fruits and vegetables every single day. It's a challenge, and I'm talking dark colors. Well, this carotenoid complex, there's one in that Vitality pack. It was clinically proven to boost your immune system 37% in just 20 days. Published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, presented at the New York Academy of Sciences, it was patented. Now, one of these in every box after a month is equivalent to consuming 80 pounds of raw fruits and vegetables in that box. Pretty awesome. So definitely a product that helps you, eat enough of those fruits and veggies. When you look at that lovely picture, it's made from the tomatoes and carrots and peppers and spinach and apricots and peaches. So it's made from whole food. Filling the gap. It protects you from rusting from the inside out. That's like my best example to slow aging, because when you breathe in oxygen, you're rusting from the inside out. So the carotenoids act as an antioxidant in your body, just like the pictures here with the cell, right? The carotenoids protect the cell from the oxidative damage from destroying and mutating the free radicals, because free radical is really the enemy that speeds up the aging of our cells. So we want to slow our aging, eat more fruits and vegetables, and supplement with carotenoid complex. Another silent killer is inflammation. There's so much research on inflammation, and it is also linked to heart disease. It's not just aches and pains, or like Maryellen with you suffering from migraines and headaches. And so inflammation is the root cause of many diseases. And And the Neolife salmon oil, you're getting one in that Vitality pack. It has all 8 omega-3, tested for 200 contaminants with an allowance of 0, made from pure Atlantic cold pressed fish, clinically proven to reduce inflammation 68% in just 8 weeks. This is pretty powerful and helps to reduce triglycerides by 17%. So very cardioprotective. And even the Royal College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, when they were looking at fish oils for being safe for pregnant moms, they looked at the Neolife salmon oil because it's tested for 200 contaminants with an allowance of 0. Because you do not want to be giving a pregnant mom any trace of mercury or lead. So this is a safe product for mom, for pregnant mom, and even for kids, which is so, so amazing. So, Maryellen, what is this? What's happening this here with these high triglycerides?
Well, high triglycerides can be a primary indicator of cardiovascular disease, and it's often a reflection of a diet too high in the bad fats, right? It can be a family trait too. Sometimes it's genetic, but again, most of the time it's from the way we eat, right? Or, what we follow in our family. And to help us reduce high triglycerides, we want to reduce the intake of those bad fats, and we want to increase the intake of good fats like omega-3s. And this is where omega-3 salmon oil plays such a big, huge role, because it optimizes the omega-3 to make it omega-6 balance, because most of us have way too many omega-6s in our diets from vegetable oils and things. It helps us lower triglycerides, and it improves that inflammatory index, because inflammation damages your heart. And that's why it's so, so important in your arteries. And then Nada, do you want to finish up with
Yeah,
the vitamin
thank
mineral
you.
tablet?
Yeah, the minerals finish off that multivitamin. So you talked about the omega-3 for triglycerides, and we've got the grain oils in there. We've got the fruits and vegetables, which are your carotenoids, and the last little tablet is a multivitamin. So we look at this as a Cadillac of multis to fill those gaps. And then we can't forget about our kids. We've got the liquid vitamin for babies that has those lipids and sterols, omega-3 fish oil, where we have kids chewing, swallowing, whichever way you can get this product in your kids. It's so amazing. And the chewable vitamins for kids, Vita Squares and Vita Guard, is like your chewable Pro Vitality. So you're getting your antioxidants, your fruits and veggies, and you're getting your vitamins and minerals and your grain oils in a chewable form for when kids are ready to upgrade from the Liquivites. And then when you add the protein, I know, Maryellen, we talked about, blood sugar, I think very briefly there in the beginning, but why is protein so important? And what about breakfast?
Well, it is just the perfect breakfast for the whole family, because that is often a struggle, especially when families are rushing in the morning, trying to get good quality protein. It is really, really tough to do that. So you add it to the Pro Vitality, and it's amazing, right? So what's inside? It's all natural. And it's biologically complete with all 22 amino acids, because we need them all to produce different things in the body. It's actually tested. It's called a PD-Cas, which is a score where they test to make sure that the protein is absorbed in the body. There's actually 18 grams per serving. It does have the branched chain amino acids to help with muscle, 5 grams of fiber. And as we were talking about, it controls the blood sugar. It has 25 essential vitamins and minerals and whole food antioxidants.
And it tastes great.
Yeah, it has no artificial anything, right? So it's safe for kids. There's my grandkids. As soon as they could drink from a sippy cup, they were drinking that Neolife shake for breakfast. Along, kids usually have it with food, right? So it was great to get them through the day and help them learn in school. Like I found, when even my boys, when they started on the shake, they started focusing better in school. It made such a huge difference.
Mm-hmm.
And there's where it shows where it gets you off of that roller coaster, because if you get up in the morning and you do the typical breakfast of, bagels, toast, cereal, you're going to go see, you'll be in that red line where your blood sugar spikes up, and then all day long you're up and down and up and down. And what happens is your blood sugar is crazy. You start storing fat, you can't burn fat, and you have no energy, right? So that's why a lot of people who eat that way find they're very, very tired. So the Neolife shake is great, because if you do want to shrink a little bit or lose a little bit of that belly fat or struggling with your weight, it's a great way to get your body back in balance. And it's actually, what's nice is it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle change. So by taking, I always have a shake every morning, even when I'm traveling, right? I get up in the morning and have my shake, and then you can have a healthy snack. There's an example. We give you mini meal lists of ideas, but they show you here like strawberries and almonds. And for lunch, you can either have a healthy lunch, or if you need to, do it more aggressively, you could have another shake for lunch, because some people find they don't have time for lunch, especially if they're very, very busy. Healthy snack, and then you have a really healthy dinner. And this is amazing program. And it's so easy to follow because you can do it with your family, right? You don't have to do all these crazy things. And it was clinically proven for weight loss, body fat reduction, lowering BMI. It protects the heart, and it just has so many benefits. And it's all published in the American College of Nutrition. And when you look at overweight and heart disease, there's definitely a connection, especially in men. When you see that sort of uh, apple sort of, they call it like tummy, that's visceral fat. That fat is so bad for the heart, super, super bad. And part of this problem is caused by what we call portion distortion. As you can see, 20 years ago, look at how small a donut was, only 140 calories, like 3 inches, compared to how it is now. It's double in size. And even French fries, like, it's 80-20. If you want to have a little bit once in a while, you much rather would have that small portion as opposed to what they have now. Like, there's a difference of like 400 calories. And even a lot of our, like our different foods and things, everything is mega, right? The bigger the better, they figure, right? And so where's the connection between overweight and obesity and the health impact? Well, it's increased with definitely increased with heart risk factors and other risk factors as well. As your BMI increases, so does your blood pressure, your LDL, your triglycerides, your blood sugar, inflammation, and you get into what you hear a lot now about that metabolic. Well, these are the type of diseases that you get into, and these changes translate into an increased risk for coronary heart disease, stroke, and cardiovascular death. But the good news is even 5 to 10% of lowering body weight can lower blood pressure, LDL cholesterol, triglycerides, and improve other cardiovascular risk factors as well. So it's amazing. I always say small changes make big gains. And here's one of my customers. This is Gabby. I was introduced to her through her sister, and she lost 34 pounds with our breakfast pack. And she was really, on a mission to improve her health because her husband, he actually died from complications of diabetes, and he was only 40 years old. And she was 30, left as a single mom with 3 small children. The youngest was only 4 months old at the time. So as you can see, she took charge of her health, and just by making those changes and lifestyle changes, she's such a great role model for her kids. But the good news is, like, she's kept it off because she's following that lifestyle, and you can see it's even more than 5 years now, and she looks fantastic. She looks great. And Carlos, he lost over 251 pounds in 26 months. And he was able to get off, his doctor took him off all sorts of medications. He can run marathons, he's healthy. And, it just shows. And when I talked to him too, I said, Carlos, a lot of people are afraid to lose so much weight because they might get, they might have to have surgery, like say he's skin. He says, I lost the fat, but I didn't lose the muscle. And that's the difference with this program. I see so many weight loss programs, you lose weight, but you lose more muscle than you do fat, which is not good for the body at all. And especially when it affects heart health as well, because our heart is the biggest muscle. So a lot of times you hear about CoQ10. This is, you're hearing more and more about it. So what does it do? If you have low CoQ10, your muscle function goes down, your energy goes down, and your disease risk goes up for cancer, diabetes, heart disease, neurodegenerative diseases, cognitive decline, and even migraine headaches, because migraines can be a cofactor in heart health. And the difference with the Neolife CoQ10 is it is all natural. It supports heart health and cellular energy. I know we were asking for years, like, are you going to come out with a CoQ10? And Neolife said until they could get one that is 100% natural, they will not bring it out. And we're so happy that we've had it and had amazing results with it as well. And if you are on medication, especially statins, statins will interfere with the pathway for CoQ10. So you absolutely need to supplement with CoQ10 if you're on statins. Because here's how it shows. If you have a statin drug, you can see, I won't get too complicated, but there's the pathway. Well, it stops you from producing cholesterol, but it also stops you from producing CoQ10. And you think, what is the heart? The heart is the biggest muscle in the body. So it needs CoQ10. And that's why you hear people who are on statins, a lot of them will get like muscle breakdown or muscle pain because they're lacking that CoQ10. And as we get older, even like for everyone, CoQ10 is beneficial because as you can see by, when you're before you're in your 20s, you have like 100%. And even by age 40, you're down like, almost 50%. By 60, you're, down 75%. And by 80, you're like almost non-existent. So it's so important that we need this for as we age. And we don't get a lot of CoQ10 in our diet. Not saying you necessarily eat what's on the screen here, but we are lacking it in a lot of our foods. And again, the Neolife solution naturally sourced CoQ10, but it also has those phytolipids and sterols that Nada was talking about in the CoQ10 as well. It has polyphenols, you hear that a lot, super antioxidant, L-cysteine for glutathione production, and it enhances bioavailability.
Yeah.
Which means you absorb it. So as you can see, when you take the Neolife CoQ10, you're back like you're in your 20s again, as far as absorption. And now, do you want to share Dean's story? Because he's got such a...
Yeah, I'm pretty excited because, Maryellen, I worked with Dean. He was a police officer, partner of mine. We worked together for many years, and then he retired. And I remember him, he's always been on Neolife products since I started the business. And I remember him reaching out to me, asking me why Neolife did not have a CoQ10. He was having these heart issues, heart trouble, and his naturopath recommended a CoQ10. So because we didn't have one, he ended up purchasing one, and he got some results. But boy, oh boy, when we launched our CoQ10 in Canada and he got that email, he called me and said, get me a case. I can't believe Neolife finally has a CoQ10. And oh my gosh, his story was amazing. So he'd been taking CoQ10 for a few years for a heart condition he was diagnosed with 13 years ago. And it was called paroxysmal tachycardia, if I said that right. Now, the medication I was given had side effects that were not nice. I felt like I was having a heart attack. I stopped the medication under the guidance of a naturopathic doctor and started taking coenzyme Q10 twice a day, along with curcumin for inflammation. It worked better than the pharmaceutical drug, as a rapid increase in pulse rate disappeared with no side effects. I was still not 100%. Neolife's CoQ10, as soon as it was launched, I tried 2 bottles of it for the first 2 months, replacing the same 100 mgm twice a day in conjunction with the curcumin worked even better. No palpitations, no more rapid pulse rates at all. Now I'll be using it exclusively as it works fantastic for my condition. So I talk to him quite regularly. He's so excited about this amazing product. And I remember talking to John Miller many, many times. And he said, Nada, what's out there is not completely natural. It took him 30 years of research to develop this amazing product. And another thing, homocysteine. I had no clue what this was when I first was introduced to this company. And, I always heard about these stories of these people that were in great shape, in great fitness levels. They were runners and cyclers, and they had heart attacks. And you're like, whoa, no fat in their bodies, in great shape. Why are they getting a heart attack? Well, 60% of people who die from heart disease have other risk factors, like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and obesity, etc. Yes, but the other 40% don't have these risk factors, and they have high homocysteine levels. So high homocysteine is a better marker for heart disease than cholesterol. And high blood homocysteine may be the most consistent risk factor for heart disease. And the high homocysteine levels are linked with dietary deficiencies of certain nutrients. So the certain nutrients are found in lipotropic adjunct. If you can't say the word, I used to say, if you're hippo, you need lipo. So that's a great way to remembering. And I'm not just saying, you know, overweight hippo, but just the word fat. It just kind of was like a word association. And this lipotropic adjunct helps tremendously. And it has the B6, B12, folic acid to help lower homocysteine levels, the lipotropic factors, choline and inositol, to help keep the lipids emulsified in the bloodstream, which is so important. Complete supply of homocysteine, lowering nutrients and lipotropic factors. We've had amazing results with people. I remember one of my most incredible testimonials was, some of you remember Elizabeth Black, my neighbor. Her dad was scheduled for heart transplant, and we put him on our heart program, which included the lipotropic factors. And in, I think it was 1 month, his heart came back. The second month, they canceled his heart transplant. So this was pretty incredible. So lipotropic works. And it provides nutritional support for healthy heart and circulatory system. It really helped me with my carpal tunnel, because again, we're circulation. And it has all the key nutrients that you need for to support vascular health. And also, we have someone that's joining us live tonight to share her story. Leonie, you have an amazing story when it comes to some of our products related to heart, to healthy heart.
Yes, thank you, Nada, for asking me to share my story. It's a heart health journey, and I just wanted to say, in the summer of 2020, I experienced chest pains, and I went for a stress test. And although the results were normal, I continued to have these chest pains. So my cardiologist, what she did was he scheduled an angiogram to see if I had any arterial blockages. And also they said that during the procedure, if there was a blockage, that they would insert a stent. Now, needless to say, I wasn't too happy with the fact that they were going to put something foreign in my body. So, but to prepare for the procedure, Nada suggested that I start the New Life 30-day heart program. Now, I did it a little bit longer than 30 days because of the fact that at that time it was COVID, and we're trying to wait for, these scheduled appointments. So anyway, I was put on the heart program. And so I went for my procedure. And immediately after the angiogram, the surgeon said to me, "You have a heart of a teenager." And I go, "Oh my gosh." I said, and he says, "And there are no blockages." And needless to say, I was ecstatic. I mean, that was 4 years ago. So I'm in my 60s. And at this point in my life, you would think with all I've done, I would have at least a little bit of blockage, but no. And I can tell you, my family has been on these Neolife products for 16 years. And I am so grateful that Neolife has kept my heart young, and I continue to do so. So thank you for letting me share my story, Nada.
Thank you, Leon. And you even started working out in your 60s, which I think
Yes.
is awesome.
Yes.
Keep that cardio going.
Yep.
Way to go. Way to go, Leonie. Strengthen that heart. Exercise is important too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Another product we have for people that are struggling with trying to find enough fiber in their diet. I know I think it's 35 grams a day, I think is what we're needing, right, Maryellen? And I don't think we come anywhere close to that amount of fiber. I love this product. I do put it in my baking. I put it in my smoothies. And it just helps to also balance the cholesterol levels in your body as well. And it tastes great. And I have to say, it's just, if you're looking for a really good fiber, it has a balance of all 5 forms of soluble and insoluble fiber, 7 to 8 grams of fiber per serving. It's completely natural. And again, just helps to promote the healthy cholesterol levels in your body as well. Also helps with gastrointestinal health, regularity, also regulating blood sugar. And again, to helps to promote the satiety. So makes you just feel more satisfied. It really makes you feel full. And Maryellen, how does garlic play a role? I know that's something that we hear a lot of as well.
Yeah, garlic is wonderful because it's like a natural antibiotic, so it's good for killing bacteria and everything. But it's interesting when you have hypertension, which is high blood pressure, because what happens when you're under stress, it causes the adrenal gland to go into fight or flight. You hear that because before, we'd run away from the tiger, right? which squeezes the kidneys, and this causes the blood sugar to go up. It can actually go up 80 points in just 15 minutes. Well, the blood vessels in the brain can rupture. There's no medication to stop the kidney to shut down this blood pressure surge. But the interesting thing is garlic has the ability to send a signal through the bloodstream to the kidneys, and in less than 17 minutes, it causes the kidneys to relax, which causes the hypertension and high blood pressure surges to drop. So powerful for preventing that, and to increase the intake of these cardioprotective foods. Garlic has been shown to promote healthy blood pressure and cholesterol levels, but it's also garlic, chives, and onions, which are all good allium vegetables. And it has it's got the allium in it, although it's enteric coated, so you don't get the garlic breath, because a lot of products are like deodorized or they take that allium out, and it's the allium that's the powerful part. And it helps with hypertension causes such as stress, enzyme imbalances, defects in sodium metabolism, nutritional deficiencies, and arteriosclerosis. And some of the symptoms of high blood pressure can be swishing sound in your ears. Some people get really hot at the back of their neck or headaches, but sometimes there's no symptoms either. It can be a silent disease as well. So it's definitely, that's why it's a good idea if you think, to have a cuff and check yourself, and, that's something you can definitely do at home. And with vitamin E, it's the #1 nutrient for cardiovascular health. That helps with stroke, hemorrhage, varicose veins, phlebitis, angina. It also helps with blood flow too, to control the consistency of the blood. It prevents blood clots. It dilates capillaries, which help the blood flow better and thins the blood. So again, if you're going through for surgery, this is one of the things that you stop before surgery. And there's so many research studies. A lot of you have heard of the Shoot Clinic in London, Ontario. They've done so much research on vitamin E. And it's really hard to get it in what you eat, right? The RDA of vitamin E is 30 international units, but they're actually saying that you should have like 100 to 400. But you think to even get 30, you'd have to eat like 2.5 pounds of spinach, which is a lot of spinach, which is 297 calories, 8.5 pounds of broccoli. You can eat 2.25 pounds of brown rice, 10 pounds of bacon, 8 pounds of peas, or 124 slices of whole wheat bread. So as you can see, this is where supplementation plays a big role. And the difference with the Neolife vitamin E, it has all 8 parts, which is how you get it in food. You don't just get one isolate in a like alpha tocopherol. You see that a lot, and a lot of times too, it'll say DL, which means it's totally synthetic. So you have to make sure to have the natural. And what symptoms are linked to low magnesium status, where it can be neurological, where you'll see behavior disturbances, irritability, fatigue, anxiety. It can cause so many things. Muscular, I've had so many people that when they're sleeping at night, they get these leg cramps, and the magnesium is amazing. I've had tons of testimonials on that. Cardiovascular is also important. I remember Dr. Liz Applegate saying for regular or rapid heartbeat, coronary spasms. Skeletal, you need magnesium to help you absorb calcium, right? So weak bones, low bone density, and metabolic for glucose support. Where do we find magnesium? Well, we want to try and eat as much as we can in our diets, and dark leafy greens, nuts, whole grains, fish, legumes, and fruits. But it is tough. It's tough to eat so much food that we need for everything, right? And why we don't get enough magnesium? Well, the levels are decreasing in our diet because of poor food choices, refined diets, and not enough overall intake. The absorption, or what they call bioavailability, is declining. A lot of the food-based magnesium is not absorbed, and some of our lifestyle factors interfere with it too. And also even the levels of magnesium in our food is decreasing because of crop soil depletion. And Neolife has their magnesium complex, which is, as you can see, it's made from whole foods. It's absorbed really well, and it's kosher certified. It's got that TriMag and PhytoMag complex, it's incredible. And it's absorbed, right? It has double amino acid chelate too. So, and nitric oxide is one of the most important molecules in human health. And you can see all the different systems in the body, from cardiovascular, nervous, endocrine. It affects all systems. It's so, so important. And if you have low nitric oxide, it can lead to chronic disease. Things like hypertension, atherosclerosis, erectile dysfunction, depression, anxiety, obesity, macular degeneration, because of course, type 2 diabetes and Alzheimer's. So it has so many roles in the body. And it's great if you could eat 100 beets a day, but again, that's hard to add that into all the other things we have to eat, right? And
I think we should hear from, let's hear from Dr. Beck, because I love the way she explains nitric oxide. This has been part of our product line just for a few years now, and we're getting a lot of great testimonials, especially when it comes to fitness and strength, and very important for your heart.
Hi, I'm Dr. Susan Beck, Chief Science Officer and SAB member for Neolife. I'm going to give you a 5-minute overview on one of the most powerful products in the marketplace. Our bodies naturally produce nitric oxide, which is a molecule that's foundational to the proper functioning of almost all systems in our body. Nitric oxide is critical for heart health, for immune health, and for the proper functioning of our nervous system. It's essential for respiratory health and reproductive health. More specifically, nitric oxide relaxes blood vessels, which increases blood flow. It has antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects. It has antiviral and antibacterial effects. It's vital for muscle force, power, and strength. It's an important factor in cognitive function, including learning and memory. It's also critically important for healthy aging. Nitric oxide is so important that some scientists refer to it as the miracle molecule. As I mentioned earlier, our bodies naturally produce nitric oxide. But here's the thing, our ability to produce nitric oxide decreases significantly with age. It decreases anywhere from 50 to 85% as we get older, or about a 10% loss per decade of life. If we have low levels of this miracle molecule, then our health suffers. Low levels of nitric oxide have been associated with a wide variety of diseases, including hypertension, atherosclerosis, erectile dysfunction, depression and anxiety, obesity, macular degeneration, type 2 diabetes, and Alzheimer's disease. So if we can't rely on our bodies to make a consistent supply of nitric oxide as we age, then how do we increase nitric oxide? It turns out that green leafy vegetables and beets are the biggest and most important sources of something called dietary nitrates. Our bodies convert dietary nitrates from vegetables into nitric oxide through the digestive process. Digestion begins in the mouth with friendly bacteria, which start the process of converting dietary nitrates into nitric oxide. About 75% of dietary nitrates are absorbed in the gut, and the remaining 25% are taken up from the blood and stored in the salivary glands. So the healthy bacteria in our mouths play a critical role in the absorption and storage of nitric oxide. In a recent study of over 50,000 people, scientists found that consuming at least 60 milligrams a day of dietary nitrates leads to reduced risk of different types of cardiovascular diseases, including ischemic heart disease, heart failure, stroke, and peripheral artery disease. Now, the USDA and World Health Organization both recommend that we should eat 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. But almost 100 studies from around the world have shown that we actually need 10 servings of fruits and vegetables per day to stay healthy. Studies consistently show that most of us are not getting 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day, let alone 10. So the bottom line is that people are not eating enough green leafy vegetables and beets that they need to replenish their bodily stores of nitric oxide. So with all of this in mind, the SAB and product team created a powerful product that boosts nitric oxide. Upbeat is a great tasting drink mix in stick packs. It provides 70 milligrams of dietary nitrates per serving. It contains a nitric oxide activation blend, which is made up of beets, kale, and Joseph's coat. Joseph's coat is a vegetable that's so colorful it reminded people of the coat of many colors in the Bible, and that's why they named it Joseph's coat. Joseph's coat is also known as red spinach. It's not a true red spinach, but they look very similar, so that's why people refer to it as red spinach. All 3 of these vegetables have been studied for their ability to increase nitric oxide in the body by providing substantial amounts of dietary nitrates. Upbeat also contains our clinically studied nitric oxide fitness blend, which is made up of moringa leaves, pomegranate peel, and black ginger root. The combination of the activation blend and the clinically studied fitness blend means that Upbeat boosts nitric oxide levels and supports cardiovascular health. Plus, our fitness blend was found in clinical trials to increase stamina and endurance and improve energy and fitness. Upbeat is GMO-free, stimulant-free, plant-based with no added sugar, only 10 calories, it's vegan. It's an easy, convenient delivery system. Just 1 stick pack a day mixed in water or juice or your Neolife shake is all you need to feel the benefits. Upbeat is the only natural beet-based product that works via 2 different pathways to increase nitric oxide production. The first pathway is through the 70 milligrams of dietary nitrates. These dietary nitrates are converted to nitric oxide. The second pathway is through the fitness blend because it kickstarts the body's own natural ability to produce nitric oxide. The clinically studied fitness blend is fast-acting. 1 dose of Upbeat increases nitrate levels in the blood by 336% in just 1 hour. Plus, this increase in nitric oxide remains elevated for up to 12 hours. Think about it. 1 dose of Upbeat works within 1 hour, and the effects will last all day. Also, be prepared for Upbeat to help you work out longer and harder. A clinical trial showed an 18% increase in the group taking the fitness blend compared to the placebo group. This means that the group treated with the fitness blend were able to work out longer without getting tired. We've heard lots of stories from people taking Upbeats who say it helps them bicycle longer or run longer or even adjust to altitude better when hiking or flying in a plane. One important note is that dietary nitrates are converted to nitric oxide starting in the mouth with friendly bacteria. Upbeat's drink mix delivery system ensures that the dietary nitrates in Upbeat will be converted to nitric oxide, unlike dietary nitrates in pill form. If we take dietary nitrates in pill form, then it bypasses the critical first step with our oral bacteria, which is necessary for nitric oxide conversion, absorption, and storage for later use. One caution, antibacterial mouthwash kills off these friendly bacteria, so please make sure you don't use antibacterial mouthwash because this will inhibit your ability to convert dietary nitrates into nitric oxide from the vegetables that you eat. So to summarize, Neolife's Upbeat is for stamina, endurance, and circulation. It's the only natural beet-based product to work via 2 pathways to increase nitric oxide production. It supports cardiovascular health, reduces fatigue, and increases stamina, improves physical performance, supports a healthy inflammatory response, promotes a healthy immune response, acts as an antioxidant, and supports cognitive function. When you're educating other people on the benefits of Upbeat, you can explain to them these 4 important points. First, the activation blend provides 70 milligrams of dietary nitrates, which are converted to nitric oxide. Second, the fitness blend jumpstarts the body's production of nitric oxide. Third, the fitness blend makes the nitric oxide the body produces more bioavailable. And fourth, there's clinical evidence showing that we will feel the benefits of Upbeat's fitness blend within an hour, and the effects last for up to 12 hours. Thank you for listening today, and I hope you all enjoy the great benefits of Upbeat.
Well, this is one of my favorites before I go to the gym, Maryellen. So just an amazing, amazing product. Absolutely love it. And I know she covered all of this. So this is our amazing Upbeat. And so as you can see, we talked about a lot of different products, heart programs, stuff for the heart, stuff for circulation, stuff for cholesterol, right? So just remember, I always recommend, and I know Maryellen, you do too, is starting with something as simple as the breakfast solution, right? Which is your shakes and your Pro Vitality. And then you can look at the list and think, what are some of the deficiencies or maybe some of the health challenges that I'm having that I might need to add? And that's where you can reach out to the person who invited you. You can have a discussion around this to decide what will be maybe 1 or 2 more products that you might want to add to your regime, especially if you're looking at some of the health challenges that you're struggling with. So these are some of the health solutions that we talked about. But again, that breakfast solution is an amazing place to start. We've had some great stories and great testimonials. Even when Maryellen shared Gabriella's story, this is what she started on, right? On her weight loss journey is the breakfast solution. So just an incredible place to start. And you can start with a 3-day detox going into the weight loss system as well, where it just kind of resets that gut flora and is just a great segue into your weight loss journey. And these are our health packs, our vitality pack, our breakfast solution, and our weight loss solution. So the 3 different packs that we have. And there's another option for those of you that are thinking, what happens when I start sharing these products? That's all I did. I started using the products, sharing it with family and friends. I started generating a part-time income, and that's when I got really excited. And if you are someone really enjoys helping others, this is an incredible income opportunity for those of you that are looking for just a little extra cash, especially if you're struggling at the end of the month. And it's free to become a member. If you just want to try the products, give the products a try, you register as a member, you get 10 or 20% off. You can get your shipping back in 6 months for being a loyal customer. When you refer people, you can even get your breakfast solution free. If you're thinking, what do I need to do to start this business and make a little extra money? Where can you start a business for as little as $98 in Canada or $75 in the US? And you get a 25% discount and full support, access to the compensation plan, just by sharing the benefits of these amazing products with people that you know. And to become a promoter, stay healthy and active and learn how to share good health with the people that you love most. That was so important to me. You also belong to a passionate community, making the world a healthier and happier place. Enjoy the time freedom of being your own boss and deciding, where you work, when you work. And that for me was more the time freedom and the flexibility to be able to leave my police career and have the freedom that I really, really wanted. So really, it's up to you. If you just want to try the products, give them a try. Become a member, feel the benefits. And if you decide to share the benefits, that's when you can earn a little extra money part-time or possibly full-time. And if you just want to learn more, just join us on our evenings where we share this information. We change our topics every Thursday, and you're going to hear amazing testimonials, very much like you heard from Leonie this evening. We have so many stories that are shared. So again, I want to thank you so much for joining us tonight. I want to thank you, Maryellen, for your expertise and joining us on this journey. I know you're in Florida. She's actually on holiday joining us tonight. So we really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule. She's actually away for, I think, 3 months. So that's the beauty of this business. You can do it wherever, whenever, even from her lovely little, it's not, I'm going to say motorhome, but it's like a Cadillac of motorhomes. So absolutely beautiful. So thank you again for joining us tonight. And I'll stop the recording and open it up to any questions that you may have.